So what have you got? We've got FirstRand as the short, and the long is gold. Were either of these influenced by what happened today, or had you decided before and kept it like that?
So there is a bit of influence on today's outcomes. And again, those calls are pretty much short term. So to the extent that what happened today persists and actually deteriorates, then we should see the banks especially that are vulnerable to the currency and rating.
Well, we saw the banking sector down 3%
today, yes. So we could see a lot of that reversing, well, escalating from this point onwards. But if it turns out that it was a storm in a teacup and there's not much to it, then that could reverse the other way tomorrow. Gold is, again, a source of insurance in uncertain times. And we saw, again, that coming through today where the gold stocks and the metal itself was fairly strong. So it's almost like a two-day call where if you're not sure and you want a place to hide and you want to take some profits off the table, that maybe the banks that have actually come through quite nicely over the last couple of sessions, we could take a bit of profit there and then sort of hide your head in the gold stocks.
Yeah. Well, gold likes uncertainty, although globally there's a different kind of uncertainty to our local certainty. So it's quite complex now at the moment because you've got the gold price and you've got the currency and different moving parts here.
It is, but to some extent, again, based on the events of overnight with the Trump outcome, we did see the gold stocks, well, the metal itself picking up. Again, the thematic of, is this a step change from a Trump point of view going forward or not? So some flight to safety away from equity markets, the S&P and the Dow especially. So, at the moment, there is some correlation from a political uncertainty and a policy uncertainty point of view between our stocks, well, our country and the US.
Yeah. Looking at that US movement, on the one hand, it was a healthcare issue.
Yes.
But the bigger principle is that Trump doesn't necessarily get his own way. He may on future issues, but it shows, unlike in South Africa, unlike in Britain, that monolithic party does not exist in the US, and maybe some people needed to be reminded of that.
Absolutely, and I think Trump did get sort of a harsh reality check.
It's his own party that let him down.
It is his own party that let him down, and hence this whole question now in terms of are we at the crossroads here? Is this a start of something, of some president going forward, or is this a once-off, just given the matter on the table that they do decide on? So we'll see, in terms of other policy decisions that he wants to push through, the extent to which he still has support of his own party or not.
Yeah, and of course on different issues you'll have different people with votes. So it's not like the same blokes who voted against the healthcare reform will vote against tax. It'll be a different group for different reasons. That's where you actually need deep analysis of who's who in those in the House of Representatives and the Senate.
Absolutely, absolutely. But then again, if there is ongoing speculation that this could be the beginning of sort of a withdrawal of support, given the aggressiveness of his policies that are currently on the table. So unless perhaps if it tones them down, then he could find greater support, not only within the Republicans, but maybe some partisan Democrats and independents.
Well, it just reminds us too that the American Constitution does armor the country against one particular group having all the power. You've got the executive, which is the presidency, you've got the House, you've got the Senate, and they each have real power, whereas in comparable democracies elsewhere, there isn't that same monolithic, there is rather much more monolithic power on the part of the party.